All right, y'all, we are back with another video. I definitely had to bring y'all this because here we go again with this lying communist Zoran Scamdani. Now get to the point where Mamdani just begged President Trump for mercy. Now, after this man won, what did he get on his little old victory speech talking about Donald Trump turned the volume up? I mean, with all of these threats that Zoran Scamdani been throwing at President Trump, and now all of a sudden, I want to work with President Trump because he know a lot about New York City. But when you was on the campaign trail, you were talking about how Donald Trump, and your little transition team is gonna be President Trump's worst nightmare. I mean, he had all the Democrats pumped up. And now he's begging President Trump for a meeting, which President Trump did accept. Now, I will show y'all that President Trump and Zoran Scamdani is coming face to face Friday. So now, and of course, President Trump put out a message going off on Zoran Scamdani. He already know that he's a communist. He's a liar. He's been all of these death threats and a lot of these vicious threats that he's been throwing at President Trump. You think President Trump forgot about that? So we definitely gonna see a lot of that right there tomorrow. But we're just showing this man how he's a freaking liar. And not only that, here go ghetto Jasmine Crockett running her mouth as well because one of her own Democrats got caught texting Jeffrey Epstein, and here go Jasmine Crockett trying to take up for her Democrat partner. But when it's on President Trump, they want to blame President Trump for everything when it comes to Epstein. They want to blame him for everything. So like I said, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support. And shout out to the one that always watches the entire video. I appreciate all of you. Thanks to everybody who let me know in the comment section that you did watch the entire video and you did stay to the end. Because like I said, it definitely helps get President Trump's message out there. So I appreciate all of you. I try my best to keep y'all up to date with everything that's going on. And without further ado, we're going to dive straight into this and we're going to start off just showing y'all how Zoran Scamdani just done walked back everything he promised. So let's go ahead and dive straight into it. As y'all can see right here, it's a Mayor-elect Mamdani walks back past remarks, says NYPD will handle domestic violence calls. Just absolutely insane. What did he do? He promised social workers was going to, handle domestic violence call. That's something that he promised the New Yorkers. He walked that back. But that ain't the only thing. We get right here. Zoran Mamdani campaigned on free buses in New York City. The government is pumping the brakes. That's two things right there. He's pumping the brakes on free buses. We knew that right there wasn't gonna happen. Now he's pumping the brakes on that. Remember the government-run grocery stores? That's not going to happen either. So this man just stood up there and straight told a complete lie to every New Yorker. And I tried to warn y'all that this guy was just lying to get your vote and to get in office. Not only that, now he just raised $1 million. And now he just put out another video, which I'm going to show y'all later in this video. Now he asking for $4 million more from New Yorkers after promising them everything was going to be free. Oh, man. So, I got a breaking news right here. You can see right here say by President Donald J. Trump. He said that communist mayor of New York City, Zoran Mamdani, has asked for a meeting. So now he's begging President Trump for a meeting after all of these threats that he's been throwing towards this man, aligning himself with people who wants to do harm to President Trump. And, he promised all his little Democrat buddies that he was going to stand up against Trump. And now here he go begging for a meeting. Do what you say you was going to do in New York. Then President Trump said, we have agreed that this meeting will take place at the Oval Office on Friday, November 21st. Further details to follow. So in Heco Caroline Levitt, because she kind of responding to this, she said Caroline Levitt responds to President Trump's Oval Office meeting with Zoran Mamdani tomorrow. Let's see what Caroline Levitt had to say.
I will just add, it speaks volumes that tomorrow we have a communist coming to the White House, because that's who the Democrat Party elected as the mayor of the largest city in the country. I think it's very telling, but I also think it speaks to the fact that President Trump is willing to meet with anyone and talk to anyone and to try to do what's right on behalf of the American people, whether they live in blue states or red states or blue cities, in a city that's becoming much more left than I think this president ever anticipated in his many years of living in New York himself.
And you see what Caroline Leavitt had to say about it. And this, of course, more Nick sort of broke it, said President Trump will be meeting with New York Mayor-elect Zoran Scamdani in the Oval Office on Friday. Oh, boy, get your popcorn ready. I can't wait to see that, because I believe President Trump going to go off. So, and this is exactly what I was telling y'all about, how this man did a whole 360, man. Or you want to say 180. So by Media Lies, he says Zoran Mamdani does a complete 180 just a day before meeting with Trump. August 2025, remember, he said, my administration will be Donald Trump's worst nightmare. Then you get to now and say, well, you know, I want to work with the president. I want to work with him. But you just said you didn't want to work with him. You threw all these threats at him, saying he wasn't worth for nothing. He's this, he's that. And then you're begging for a meeting. So let's check out this hypocrisy right here from Zoran Scamdani.
My administration would be Donald Trump's worst nightmare. I have many disagreements with the president, and I believe that we should be relentless and pursue all avenues and all meetings that could make our city affordable for every single New Yorker.
You say you were going to make your city affordable. You say you're going to be free buses, government-run grocery stores, and now Kathy Hochul done pretty much saying she ain't going to do none of that, which she knew she wasn't going to do in the first place. It was just a whole setup to get you elected. That just goes show you the hypocrisy in this man.
Pursue all avenues and all meetings that could make our city affordable for every single New Yorker. I intend to make it clear to President Trump that I will work with him on any agenda that benefits New Yorkers.
He'll work with President Trump. So where was all this at in the beginning? Where was all of this in the beginning? Why you were so mad? So like I said, your victory speech after you won, you saying Donald Trump turn the volume up. I mean, this guy was so mad. Now, all of a sudden, he all's calm and collective. He need President Trump's help. Here he go. He ran over there to MSNBC as well. And I guess the host asked him, what is your goal for a meeting with Donald Trump? But let's see what Mamdani said. Let's see if he still got that anger in him, that he was just like he wanted to do something to President Trump. Let's see what he say.
Do you think a lot of people go into meetings with Donald Trump, I think, thinking they're going to be the one to get over on him? And I sometimes often think, I've watched this now for 10 years, they screw up because they think they underestimate him. Like, what is your goal for a meeting with Donald Trump? What do you want to come out of a meeting with Donald Trump?
I want to just speak plainly to the president about what it means to actually stand up for New Yorkers and the way in which New Yorkers are struggling to afford this city. And frankly, cost of living is something that I heard time and time again from New Yorkers about why they voted for Donald Trump. And this is something that is only continued in the last few months of this year, where we're hearing about childcare concerns, rent concerns, Con Ed concerns, even just getting on the bus just $2.90. And just to make it clear to the president that this is what we're talking about, these are the stakes for New Yorkers and their ability to keep calling this city their home.
Wow, all calm and collective. You know, want to figure out how, because, New Yorkers voted for President Trump. But like I said, I don't know, where was all of this in the beginning? He was just all mad, throwing out threats and all type of stuff. And that's why President Trump had to do what he had to do and go off on him, because of the stuff that was just coming out of his mouth. Now, we get right here. Let's go over here on CNN because, of course, it always just Scott Jennings by himself taking up for President Trump. Everybody over there is against President Trump except Scott Jennings. So salute to Scott Jennings, and let's just check out this quick clip right quick.
Maybe Mayor Mamdani could explain to Donald Trump why his party lost so abysmally in the elections earlier this month. He could explain. Trump said he didn't really seem to understand this affordability talking point. Maybe Mamdani can help explain that to him.
Oh, God.
No, I don't think we need any explanations about communism and socialism, Karen. And if you're so excited about a Democrat winning the mayor of New York City, and this is some pinnacle political dominance for you. God bless, but it's New York City, and the guy's a Democrat. He lost a third of his party to Andrew Cuomo, one of the worst people in the city. For God's sake, I'm not sure how good he really was.
I merely said that I thought a president should be willing to meet with the new mayor of New York City, which is the largest city in this country.
Boy, I'm telling you, man. Something is wrong with a lot of these hosts that be on CNN, bro. I mean, they just show their hatred. Where is President Trump gonna learn from Mamdani? Like, these people are crazy. Y'all won New York. Okay. It is what it is. But that's the thing. This woman here, I don't know this woman, but at the same time, she might not live in New York, so you might not have to go through what a lot of New Yorkers is finna have to go through. This man is already making video talking about confiscating people's properties in New York. So it's like, man, this stuff is crazy. Like, come on. So, and then, he got into another interview. I guess the question of the host asked him, hey, how are you getting the $700 million to make the buses free if the governor is not raising taxes? Because remember, this guy ran on free buses, government-run grocery stores, all type of stuff. Let's see what he say.
And the other one, you're talking about fast and free buses and you're meeting with the governor. I've heard you talk about many times that you don't want to take money away from the MTA. You want to put money back in. It's something that she agrees with, right? We don't want to take away money from the MTA. How are you getting that money, the $700 million to make the buses free, into the MTA if she's not for raising taxes?
I think that the two clearest ways to raise that money is through the raising of the state's corporate tax to match that of New Jersey. I think that a lot of this is still a case to be made, whether it's the corporate tax or whether it's the personal income tax on those who make more than $1 million a year or more. I think that these are the clearest ways. I've also said that if there are other ways to raise this funding, the most important fact is that we fund it, not the question of how we do it, but
And y'all, New York just got scammed. This guy's a whole freaking scam artist. This man walked back everything he promised on the campaign trail. Walked back everything. Kathy Hochul already came out and said that she ain't raising taxes. It ain't going to be no free buses. Ain't no government-run grocery store. She ain't freezing your rent. None of that. And that's damn near almost everything he ran on. And like I'm going to keep saying, Kathy Hochul is part of the scam as well because she didn't come out and go against what he was promising until after he won. So she wanted to make sure he won before she came out. She didn't want to do it before then. So, like I said, that just makes her a scam artist as well. So here he go again. After raising $1 million, he come right back out with another video with this fake smile that he put on his face, asking New Yorkers now for $4 million. So even right here by Eric Daugherty. He said, breaking a desperate Zoran Mamdani stunned supporters by stating things can actually be free, begging for more money to fund his transition after he had already raised $1 million. Every communist is a professional swindler. New Yorkers got scammed big time. I want y'all to check this out.
It's been 2 weeks since we won the election. We've been pretty busy.
Projects the Democratic Socialist Zoran Mamdani.
Too often, this is a time of just celebration as opposed to preparation. We want to make it both. A lot of these things are new, but one of them is pretty old, fundraising. But why are we fundraising? Well, we have less than 50 days until we take office, and we have a lot to do. We have to vet the 50,000 resumes we've received. Thank you. We have to keep paying our incredible team. Thank you. And we have to plan not just our inauguration, but our policy implementation. Now, unlike the campaign, transitions do not get public matching funds from the city. So that 8-to-1 match, gone. It's up to us to raise the money. Usually campaigns take that as an opportunity to rely on wealthy donors, but that's not us. You've already been incredible. We've raised more than $1 million in just 2 weeks. Our average donation is around $77, and more than 12,000 of you have donated so far, which is much lower than the last administration's transition. But we're still asking for your help because we need to raise $4 million in total. So
wow, this guy said we need to raise $4 million. And he's saying it was lower than the last transition team. So this man is trying to scam. Not only, he already got $1 million, he's over 12,000 people donated, and he got $1 million. And now he's saying he wants $4 million to fund him and his transition team. So this man trying to get a total of $5 million before he take office. And a lot of New Yorkers is still falling for this. This man is asking for $4 million.
Donation is around $77, and more than 12,000 of you have donated so far, which is much lower than the last administration's transition. But we're still asking for your help because we need to raise $4 million in total, so January 1st can be the day we start to deliver, not start to prepare. I hope very soon not to have to ask you for money, but until then, I'm asking for you to go to transition2025.com and give whatever you can to help build a New York that everyone can afford. This is your city, and I can't wait to get to work. No, I'm kidding. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Absolutely insane. That fake smile he put on, and just all he got to do is put on that fake smile, and he's just robbing New Yorkers. Robbing New Yorkers with a fake smile. My goodness. But let's move on, y'all. Now, this is where I want to talk about the hypocrisy of the Democrat Party. I showed y'all the video yesterday of Hakeem Jeffries with his hypocrisy. Don't want to speak on, one of their own, texting with Jeffrey Epstein, and here go Jasmine Crockett. They got to find a way to throw President Trump in there. Every time they get caught, they want to throw President Trump in there. They said last night I was CNN, Jasmine Crockett proudly displayed her hypocrisy. Let's check this out.
Democrat who's been on defense over Jeffrey Epstein is Stacey Plaskett. She represents the Virgin Islands. She was texting with Jeffrey Epstein the day of Michael Cohen's hearing. Her questions pretty closely followed the text messages between the two of them to ask about Rona Graff, Trump's longtime assistant. You were defending her today, or in recent days, yesterday, and you talked about Republicans taking money from a Jeffrey Epstein. Here's what you said.
Who also took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, as I had my team dig in very quickly. Mitt Romney, the NRCC, Lee Zeldin, George Bush, Win Red, McCain Palin, Rick Lazio.
You mentioned Lee Zeldin there. He's now a cabinet secretary. He responded and said it was actually Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, who's a doctor that doesn't have any relation to the. Unfortunate for that doctor, but that is who donated to a prior campaign of his. Do you want to correct the record on the people that?
Listen, I never said that it was that Jeffrey Epstein. Just so.
Oh my God, she gonna say I never said it was that Jeffrey Epstein. You got to be freaking kidding. This woman can't even take accountability and just say, you know what? I apologize. I thought it was Jeffrey Epstein that we've been talking about for the longest because it's the Democrat Party. And now she want to say, oh, I want to talk about, I just said, Jeffrey Epstein. Like, this is absolutely freaking insane, man. I mean, she can't, look how she looking. She can't even apologize.
So that people understand when you make a donation, your picture is not there. And because they decided to spring this on us in real time, I wanted the Republicans to think about what could potentially happen because I knew that they didn't even try to go through the FEC. So my team, what they did is they Googled. And that is specifically why I said a Jeffrey Epstein. Unlike Republicans, I at least
everybody know what Jeffrey Epstein you was talking about. Now she want to say a Jeffrey Epstein. She must think we stupid or something. What?
Out and just tell lies.
That's
because
what you're
it
doing.
Was not the same one, that's fine. But when Lee Zeldin had something to say, all he had to say was it was a different Jeffrey Epstein. He admitted that he did receive donations from a Jeffrey Epstein, so at least I wasn't trying to mislead people. Now,
you were misleading people because you didn't do your due diligence and read. You just seen it and just ran with it.
Dug in to find out who this doctor is. I have not. So I will trust and take what he says is that it wasn't that Jeffrey Epstein, but I was not attempting to mislead anybody.
Yes, you was.
I literally had maybe 20 minutes before I had to do that debate.
Yep.
So she had 20 minutes and told her team to hurry up and rush and just find some names so she can try to save Stacey Plaskett. So she's trying to save one of her Democrat friends, the young lady who was texting with Jeffrey Epstein. So in order to save her, she's trying to throw other people in it and trying to say, well, what about the Republicans? That was talking to Jeffrey Epstein or doing it or texting Jeffrey Epstein. Now she's trying to throw other people in it because Stacey Plaskett got caught. That is insane. She can't even answer the question and say, just come out and say, you know what? Stacey was wrong for that. She should never did that. They won't even say it. But let it would have been President Trump texting Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, they'll run with that. They'll run with that. That's exactly what they want. This is insane.
Yeah, but people might see that and say, well, you're trying to make it sound like he took money from
I did not know.
Registered.
But I literally did not know.
Well, why did you say it then? Why did you say his name? If you did not know, That's on you for believing, because then you said you had 20 minutes. You telling your team to hurry up and just rush on the internet when you had a good minute to do that before you ran your mouth, and you telling them to hurry up in 20 minutes to try to find random people's names and just throw names out there just because you're trying to save one of yours that just got caught. Then we find out that Hakeem Dollar Store Barack Obama Jeffries wanted to have dinner with him.
FEC files, and that's what I had my team to do. I texted them and I said, listen, we're going up. They are saying that she took donations.
Right, but someone might say, well, your team should have done the homework to make sure it wasn't.
In 20 minutes, you could not find that out, not from just doing a quick.
So if you couldn't do it, why did you go up there calling out everybody's name then? You should have waited till another time until you got and did your due diligence to make sure what you saying was right. You wanted to rush and throw some stuff out there. Now you don't want to take accountability for it.
Search on FEC. So number one, I made sure that I was clear.
No, you wouldn't.
A Jeffrey Epstein, but I never said that it was specifically that Jeffrey Epstein,
God!
because I knew that we would need more time to really dig in.
Well, Stacey Plaskett was texting the Jeffrey Epstein that we're all
Correct.
talking about. You voted against the censure for her to remove her from her committees. We pressed the minority leader Hakeem Jeffries on this last night. Maybe you don't think she should be removed from her committees.
Correct.
But why do so many Democrats seem unwilling to say it's inappropriate to be texting with a register about what you're going to ask a witness at a congressional hearing?
So I'm not going to necessarily say that that's the case. Now, this is somebody that was a former prosecutor. Now, I haven't sat down and talked about all the specifics of why Stacey was doing what she was doing. I know that when she got up and she spoke, she talked about the fact that this is one of her constituents. At the end of the day, what I know of prosecutors is that they are typically talking to co-defendants. They are typically talking to the people that have the best information and which
You see what I'm talking about? Trying to make excuses of Stacey texting with Jeffrey Epstein. But when it comes to Republicans, like if it's a Republican texting with Jeffrey Epstein, you don't see Jasmine Crockett coming out defending no Republican, saying the stuff that she's saying now. But when it's one of theirs, she's trying to make excuses.
what you had was the former attorney for the president that was sitting there. And honestly, we knew, or she knew, or at least Jeffrey Epstein presented that he was very cozy with the president. He had more information. The bigger question is, why is it that the president was so cozy with the registered?
You see how she keep trying to throw President Trump in it. See, that's what they do. When they get caught, they trying to throw President Trump in everything. What done happen is that now all of this stuff of them rushing to get the Epstein file, Donald Trump need to sign it. Now this stuff is starting to backfire on them. Now we finding out that Hakeem Jeffrey wanted to had dinner with Jeffrey Epstein. And now Stacey Plaskett was texting them. So I'm saying, all this stuff is starting to backfire on them now. And now they're trying to make excuses and throw President Trump in. And when they get caught, Donald Trump did this. And they got no proof.
Even after he ultimately ended up with some of his convictions. And seemingly he had absolutely been on the plane with him. We know about the birthday card.
See, here you go again. You talking about on the plane, why you ain't talking about Bill Clinton going to the island over 28 times? Why you ain't talking about that? Why you ain't talking about that? Jeffrey Epstein had a picture of Bill Clinton in a blue dress on his wall as soon as you open the front door to go in. Why you ain't talking about that?
The bigger question is, why is the president of the United States not the one that is in the hot seat for his relationship, instead of us saying, oh, you know what, we're going to take her off of her committee because he decided to text her. Stacey didn't initiate that chain.
It don't matter if she initiated. If it's somebody that's a registered SO like Jeff, I'm not texting you back. If you somebody that's a registered SO, I'm not texting you. If you text me, I'm not texting you back. I don't want no dealing with you. As a matter of fact, I'm blocking you. You won't be able to text me. But if you did text me, you won't get no response. You won't get no response from me. So now there you go right here with Jasmine Crockett trying to make excuses. Like she shouldn't even responded. She already knew what this guy been doing. You don't text nobody back like that. No matter what he texts you. It don't matter if he said, hey, what's up? What you doing? I'm not texting you.
Jeffrey initiated that chain.
It don't matter.
She took the information. Just like if somebody texts me.
Yeah, but she was responding and saying, what are you talking about? Quick, I'm up next. And then her questions were about Rona. But do you think that was inappropriate? I mean, would you text with someone who is a registered about what you should ask?
I honestly know that he had never been convicted of any federal crimes at that time.
It don't matter if he wasn't, but look what he was accused of at the time. Look what he was accused of. See, that's what I'm talking about. They making excuses. When it come to them, it's all about excuses. Then when you look at the difference when it's come to Stacey and Hakeem Jeffrey. Look how Jeb and Crockett talk. And then when it come to Donald Trump, well, you know Donald Trump was texting another president of the United States. He was on a plane. Look how aggressive she is when it come to Trump. But if one of their own, she's trying to make excuses. Oh, Jesus.
He'd been in jail already.
He had been in jail.
Deal.
And my deal is this. The Republicans are constantly
Here she
texting
go
with a
again.
34-count convicted felon.
Oh, now the Republicans are texting a 34-count convicted felon. Some bogus charges that y'all threw on him that thought that was going to lose him the election.
So if it's okay for them to text him at any point in time, then I'm not going to say that that's right or wrong, especially to the extent that you're talking about kicking someone off their committee.
Kicking somebody off their committee, but yet y'all try to put President Trump in prison. Which one is the worst, Jasmine Crockett? Kicking somebody off their committee or throwing somebody in prison? Y'all try to put this man in prison over lies. It was the same lies y'all been putting out for this man for the longest. Y'all try to put this man in prison for the rest of his life.
Were they sexting? Was it a matter of her being involved?
It don't
in
matter.
the
It don't matter. She was texting him. It don't matter. Quit trying to make excuses. Boy, they better not never let me get on CNN and I got the debate with Jasmine Crockett on this. Boy, I'm telling you. Boy, hey, CNN invite me.
Oh, yeah. No, it was nothing like that. She was trying to understand. Let's say Jeffrey Epstein said, you know what? I have these pictures, these salacious pictures, because I know that the president got down and did these things. Do you think that it would be inappropriate for her to ask about those things if he said he had personal knowledge?
I think the context matters, but obviously it seemed like he was helping her.
Oh, boy, that right there is just something else. And another thing I want to show y'all is now, Democrats won't never answer the question like when Joe Biden was in office for 4 years, why didn't he release the Epstein files? He was in office. Why didn't he release them? If they cared about like the victim, just like they say they care about the victims. If they cared about the victims so much, why didn't they release them? They was in office for 4 freaking years. So look by Paul. It said Jasmine Crockett say that Joe Biden didn't release the Epstein file because he didn't campaign on it and that he campaigned on affordability. It don't matter if he didn't campaign on it. Y'all ain't worried about if he'll campaign on it. You said y'all wanted to make sure, the victims, get taken care of to make sure they figure out what is going on. Release the file so they can see what's going on. Now she want to make another excuse. Just another freaking excuse. Now is he didn't campaign on it.
We were gone for about 2 months because we couldn't talk about Jeffrey Epstein. And now everybody wants to act as if they want to have like a real honest conversation about the victims and the survivors and everybody else. Where was this conversation a long time ago? And I know that y'all love to go back and say that Joe Biden didn't do it. Joe Biden is blamed for everything. Joe Biden didn't do anything and it was Joe Biden's fault. And why wasn't Joe Biden didn't campaign on it?
He didn't have to campaign on it. You don't have to campaign on something just to release the files. If y'all say y'all cared about the victims, he don't have to campaign on it. Just release the files. There's just another excuse. Now that he didn't campaign on it.
I want to be clear. If y'all can run me the tape, then run me the tape. But when you can't.
It don't matter. You get proof right in front of your eyes and you still find a way to twist it. You just got proof that Stacey was texting Jeffrey Epstein and you still twisted the story. So showing you proof don't matter. Because you're going to twist it anyway. You just got 100% proof. Email is out there of Stacey texting Jeffrey Epstein and you still, disown her. You still voted against censoring her. So what does showing you proof do? Absolutely nothing.
And you go out and you make a promise, then we evaluate whether or not you actually meet your promises. So listen, this was rope that y'all decided to hang yourselves with because the president campaigned on the Epstein files while we were campaigning on things such as...
Oh, you want to campaign on that? Shut up. So let's get right here to the last clip I want to show y'all because James Comer read Brooklyn Barack email on House floor. Pretty much how, Jasmine Crockett said, Jeffrey Epstein. But listen what Jones Campbell had to say.
So let's read it to make sure. To Jeffrey Epstein, and that's the real Jeffrey Epstein, not Jasmine Crockett's Jeffrey Epstein. This is the real Jeffrey Epstein. From Hakeem Jeffries' campaign. Dear Jeffrey, we are thrilled that we are working with Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, one of the rising stars of the New York delegation, sometimes referred to as Brooklyn's Barack. Hakeem is committed to electing a Democrat majority in 2014 and is encouraging his friends to participate in a DCCC fundraising dinner with President Obama and Hakeem Jeffries. It ends with a number for Jeffrey Epstein to call to go to the dinner and, quote, get an opportunity to get to know Hakeem better. Here's the evidence. The email speaks for itself.
And then I showed y'all that video yesterday, Hakeem Jeffrey talking about he don't remember that. Boy, he supposed to be lying, man.
The only stone cold liar in this debate is Hakeem Jeffries. So, Mr. Minority Leader, take a deep breath, chill out, stop lying, stop with the juvenile name calling, and own up to the fact that your campaign solicited campaign cash from Jeffrey Epstein.
And that's exactly right. And if you noted, that's what Hakeem Jeffries been doing, just coming out with the name calling because he can't accept the fact that he was texting Jeffrey Epstein. Boy. So like I said, y'all get in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about this. Thank you all for watching, especially the ones that made it to the end. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.